Hi, welcome to my podcast, From One Mother of an Addict to Another. Today we're going to be discussing enabling, and we are going to start with how to recognize the behaviors of enabling. Well, let's start with number one, denial. Basically, ignoring the severity of your child's addiction, avoiding acknowledgement of the problem. Oh, yeah, I'm raising my hand right there. That was definitely something that I did at the beginning, as well as when the teachers might have said something about he's not showing up for school, he seems sluggish. I should have seen that he was, in bed a lot. I never thought it was because of depression. I just thought he just didn't want to go to school and he was bored. I also noticed that, even in school, the psychologist might have mentioned to me, I think maybe you need to go see someone. Jake seems to be, acting out a bit. I'd be like, oh, please, I'm sure he's fine. He's just, misbehaving a bit. I'm going to talk to him. Those kind of things, yeah, that's denial, minimalizing their behaviors, and that's definitely the start. It's easy for everyone else to say, oh, you should have picked this up. I did notice he was always attracted to the wrong kids. I can't blame someone else's kid for my kid's path that they chose, but he definitely gravitated to the kids, the mischievous kids, and the kids that were doing drugs. Next, I'd say financial support. Ooh, that's a big one. Listen, we don't want to see our kids on the street. We don't want to say no because of the guilt. I don't know about you, but I felt guilty. Oh, he's manipulative, boy. They know how to say, oh, I'm not going to be able to eat. Or how do you expect me to do this? I don't have a job. Or, I just need it one last time and I won't ask again. But, I gambled my money away and I didn't realize it, and I thought I'd be winning and I lost and I don't have my money for rent. I hacked my laptop and I need it for school and I don't know what to do. All these things. And yes, what do? We help them get their laptop back because, God forbid, they should be without a laptop. We ensure that they're not sleeping on the streets, they have a roof over their head, and they're eating, right? So they're not being financially accountable for themselves. And we are constantly doing that for them because we don't want to see our kids fail. We don't want to see our kids suffer. That is where this all stems from. We want them to be happy. We want them to be successful. We want them to have a life that's functioning. But we can't do that for them, no matter how much money we throw at them. So that's definitely something. Oh, and then starting them over all the time. They get out of rehab, you start them over, you get them set in an apartment or their life, wherever they're going to end up living. And then they go back to school. You got to set them up for school and how that's going to work. And they've got to set up their place where they're going to live and how they're going to drive and where are they going to get a car from or a bicycle. All those things. Yep, financial. And then we're rescuing them from consequences. Yep, I'm raising my hand again. My son went on a school trip. He was chosen for being really bright and being able to speak about history and do this trivia with other kids around the country. And he ends up in a hotel in San Francisco where the event was taking place. And he meets this kid out of nowhere from Canada and ends up, he was in the bathroom at the hotel and they decide to smoke pot right below the fire alarm. That was really great. There was no thinking there whatsoever. So I get the call. They're sending him home. It's a disaster. I call the principal of the school because next thing I know, they're calling me in and they're going to expel him from school. And if they expel him from school, he can't go into college. He'll have to go start at community college first. And so again, what did I do? I cried. I went into the school and I begged them, please don't expel him. Please, please, please do anything. Please do not expel him. They didn't expel him. He was able to just miss, I think that he stayed out of school for like a couple of days, and that was it. That was really bad. I look back, I should have just stepped aside and let him suffer the consequences. He didn't feel those consequences. He knew I'd save him because I wouldn't want him to be in that situation. Lack of boundaries. Ooh, yeah. He was disruptive with the family. He was disruptive in the house. He was impossible to deal with or talk to. Constantly, he knows everything. So you say one thing to him and he blows a gasket. So it was best to just kind of keep him calm and just, kind of shake your head and say yes, 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 knowing that, there's nothing you could say to change his mind because they know everything. Also, he was starting to take over the house. He was starting to make it out like I'm there and this is not my place. He's the person, that main person of the house, not me. Totally tried to take over the house. Codependency. Yeah, well, codependency relationships where parents' self-worth is tied to the child's behavior. That is for sure something that was really difficult for me to get over because I felt such guilt and I felt so like, what did I do wrong? What did I do to make this happen? How did I let this happen? Why was it not solved sooner? I was always there. I was a total helicopter mom, so I really don't know where that came from and how it got so bad and that it was spiraling out of control and I just couldn't stop it. I don't know where that came from or how that occurs, but again, you can't make the choices for your child. And, he turned 16 and then he needed a car because how he's going to get to school. And even though he blew out two tires and got in an accident, still got another lease and still gave him that car because how else was he going to get around? But I definitely felt the codependency was, he really, by his actions, made me feel like less of a mom and that I failed. And that is 100% true. And then, of course, what does that do? It just makes the addict feel crappier because they feel like they've disappointed us. When in fact, they've really disappointed themselves. They've affected their own life. They did this to themselves. But as parents, yeah, we love our kids so much and we just want the best for them. And then we try to figure out what went wrong because when you do everything right, why shouldn't it be that your outcome is what you expect it to be? But the bottom line is we don't do everything right. And that's okay. We're not supposed to. It's not human to do everything right. So we can't solve this and we can't blame ourselves. So that's where the codependency comes in. And then the avoidance of the difficult conversations. Oh my God, the mental issues. There was no discussing it with him. He is fine. I'm crazy. He's not the crazy one. He even told me afterwards, he ran around town saying, I'm crazy. I'm a psycho. He can't live with me. I'm impossible. I make his life miserable. I'm the cause of all his problems. And that is kind of where that goes. The avoidance of taking the conversations that he has and just listening to him. You're not his freaking therapist. How many hours can you listen to someone? How many hours can you listen to someone go on and on and on? You might as well just your head's going to blow off. That is not your job. You're not a therapist. And I'd find myself sitting there, and if you said one word, he'd go in a whole tangent. So there's no winning there either. So it's not getting to that place where it goes into too deep a conversation. So it's best to avoid that because they're not listening anyway. They really don't want to hear what you have to say. They're just spouting out and being belligerent. And that's where that comes from. Now, recognizing these enabling behaviors is crucial, yeah, but it ain't easy and it takes years because just when you recognize one, you're still doing the other. And one of the last ones that I think that lingers for a long time is the money. 100% is the money. I remember being in a Al-Anon meeting, and there was a gentleman there, and his daughter was coming out of jail, and he didn't want her to come out and not be there for her. Where is she going to live? How's she going to have money? How is she going to eat? He feels like, here I go again. I'm saving her. What am I going to do? And everyone in the group is trying to explain, listen, you do the best you can. If you feel like you need to do that, then go. But the bottom line is that no, you shouldn't go. You shouldn't go when they get out of rehab and be there for them with open arms and, oh, okay, life's perfect. No. You shouldn't bring them back into your home. No. You shouldn't enable them either. They need to make these decisions what comes next for themselves. And until then, they should go on disability. So if they're 18 years old, let them go on disability. Let them figure out where they're going to live and how they're going to eat and how they're going to have a job. Now, I believe that rehab should be at least 6 to 9 months. I mean, that's my suggestion. And if you could keep them in with your insurance as long as possible, do it. It's the best for them. And it's almost like outpatient, but inpatient. And then when they finally do get clean, 1 month isn't enough. They need more time to detox. And then they finally, I'd say after 6 months, they start feeling a little better. They're thinking clearer, and they're able to make some decisions and realize where they were before, what they want to do, how they want this to be. Now, again, we could recognize all the enabling behaviors that we do. That doesn't mean that the outcome is going to be that our kid is not going to be an addict anymore. So these are just things that we need to do for ourselves, for our self-care, and for overall well-being of the family. Because you see, they go from person to person, right? So when you don't offer money and you say no, they're going to go to the next person and the next person in the family. And they're going to work that person and act like, oh, mom's not there for me. Oh, dad's not listening to me. Oh, they're impossible. They don't want to. All I need is an extra $100. I promise I'm going to give it back to you. I promise I'm going to stay clean. I promise I'm not going to be like this. And of course, majority of the time, 99%, it's basically them just trying to use you, and they'll use anyone in the family or anyone they know to get what they want. So, and they're the best manipulators. Wow, best manipulators ever. So basically, how do you break the cycle? How do you make it so that you don't do all these things, or at least some of them? Well, the first thing you could do is look back on the things you've already done. Make a list. See what you've done already. Take out that paper and pen. If you're in the middle of this, if you're at the beginning stages of this, or even at the end, take out the piece of paper and start writing down all the things you've done to enable your kid. That's it. One by one. Start from the beginning. Oh yeah, my kid seemed he was being bullying. I went right up to them and I took care of it for them. And that was it. He didn't hand in his homework. I made excuses to the teacher, and he got away with it. He didn't have to worry. They were going to suspend him. He took something home from school, but he didn't mean to. It was found in his bag. He really didn't take it. Yeah, and you got him out of them as well. These are all the things you need to write down and really see what you've done or haven't done. Bring in the money. What have you done? Okay, when he flat tires and he claimed, oh, I didn't do it, it wasn't my fault, I should have made him pay for the tire. You work and get your new tire. You work and pay for your own insurance. Those are the things you should do, but I didn't do either. So the only way to break this cycle is typically, I think, when something really bad happens. Because as parents, we can't change our personalities. We can't change who we are. We just can't. And no matter how many times someone tells you not to do anything, you're going to do it anyway. Oh my God, my other son would ask me, did you give him money again? And I'd say no, but I did. I gave them money. Yep. Because the thought of him sleeping on a bench or him not eating and me feeling guilty and living with that and him not having pizza that he wants or whatever he wants to eat and I'm depriving him of that, I couldn't live like that at that time in my life. Now, what changed for me and what I was able to break the cycle was when my limit was done. That took 12 and a half years. Yep. But finally, one day, it only took one day for him to hit below the belt. And that was it. Even when I felt like I had to lock my purse and myself in the bedroom at night to close it, even when he got in my face and I thought he was going to hit me, even all these times, and then when I didn't feel comfortable living in the house with him, nope, still didn't break the cycle then. Nope, still enabling. The only thing that broke it was when he was so cruel and so vicious with the things he said to me and about me and accused me that was it. I had it. That is what the moment when I changed my whole outlook and I became strong, I'd say. It's really hard to get to that place and it's going to take you a long time. So don't think, oh, you're going to switch this and you're going to make this list and any doctor's going to tell you, hey, you could do this. And it's not so easy, okay? And it's not so easy for everyone in the family because they want the best for this person. They want the best for your kid and your family member. Of course they do, your grandmother and grandparents. I know someone that kicked their kid out of the house and their grandparents took the kid in. But then the grandkid started stealing drugs from the grandparents, from the cabinet. And now what? And then the grandparents had to deal with this. What did that do? Nothing. It caused nothing. It caused more of the same enabling because they weren't able to say, okay, you need to leave the house. They needed to find another place, thinking that that was going to make the situation better, when in turn, it didn't. So what I have to say is the only way that you can break this cycle is unless you're extremely strong person and you're able to come to this conclusion on your own and strong enough to say, no, I am ready to let go of him or her. When you are ready to let go of that person that you came out of your stomach, that you carried for 9 months, and you thought would be with you for the rest of your life, when you're at that place where you're ready to let go is when you'll stop enabling. And that takes a really long time. Unless you're lucky and they do something to you sooner than later. I have met parents along the way that have been really strong. And after 6 months of dealing with their kid, they said, that's it, you're out. For 1 year, the kid left. They didn't know where the kid was. Came back a year later, wanted to go to rehab, got well, and that was it. Now, is that it for the rest of their life? No, it's a lifetime. They're going to always have to watch this. They're going to always have to watch for triggers that come later on in life. But at the beginning stages, yeah, it's great if you could do that. But not everybody can. But that doesn't mean you're prolonging your kid's addiction. That is not the case. And don't let anyone convince you of that. You are trying the best you can. And that's all you can do as a parent. And it's hard. And it makes you feel bad. Because you want your kid to be by your side. And then it's even worse. Because when you do come to this realization, the only next thing is to break the cycle is to grieve. You start grieving over the person that you lost a long time ago. But you can't get to that place yet until you are able to let go and not enable any longer. So I hope this helps. Be strong. Don't let anyone tell you that there's a certain path that you take, that these are the rules There are no rules. There's no lists. These are things that you do or you don't do. And it's, you know what needs to be done or not done. It's just you being able to take that path and do it or not. So it's up to you. It's hard. You don't have to do it tomorrow. You could do it in piecemeal. You could do a little bit at a time. You could think about it. That would help also. But yeah, you need to say no. I'm done. You don't want to live by my rules. You don't want to live a functioning life. That's it. Let me know when you do. Call me then. All right, I hope this helps. Have a great day, and I hope you'll continue to listen to more of From One Mother of Addict to Another.